was scrolling through my old art and I realized that I have not once redrawn anything from like 2 years ago, so I decided to give it a try today. I found these old pieces maybe from 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago that I still really like, but I think I can do a lot better now. So eventually, after looking through a couple old pieces, I decided I was going to redraw this one. She's an old character I used to draw a whole lot, but I have very much been neglecting her as of late, so I decided it seems like a good one to draw. I also still quite like this piece, and it doesn't physically pain me to look at like how some of my other old pieces make me feel. To keep most of it pretty similar, I did line art and kept the pose the same, which recently I haven't done as much of. I've really enjoyed just rendering pieces and skipping the line art process altogether, so I'm really glad I could actually do a decent line art this time around, and I really like the new pens I've been using. The old brushes I used in the past, I think we're all on Quick Studio Paint, but I've gotten a lot more accustomed to it, and I've found a lot more brushes that I enjoy using and have become better at using. This time I went for a little more simple design with the flowers. I put less in and kept them all relatively the same design and shape. And it's always moments like this when I have to avoid messing up the previous line art that I had done with line art in the back that I remember I like to render art more. That's not even fair to say because I actually ended up really enjoying doing the line art like this, and I want to do more pieces like this in the future because it was kind of fun. I think playing around with Procreate and doing a lot of line art on Procreate has really helped me feel more confident doing it on Quick Studio Paint, because I used to just hate doing line art on Quick Studio Paint, but for some reason I felt doing it on the iPad or on Procreate was so much more acceptable and easier to do, and I don't know why. I feel like I had two totally different art styles on the two programs. After I was pretty satisfied with my line art, I began going through and giving it some color. Started with the background. I literally just eyedropped the color from the original piece in so I could have a similar blue shade, but then I decided I didn't really like it, so I tweaked it a little bit before finishing it up. Something about just filling all of the line art with a different color just makes it feel so much more complete and satisfying. So that's what I started with, and I began to block out the colors that I wanted for each section of my character. I really have to play around with my colors to make sure I actually like them, because I always pick some colors and then by the time I'm finished the piece, I realize I hate how they all look together. So I'm trying to be more aware of what colors I pick at the beginning. And who would have thought that's exactly how I started feeling about the background color? I thought it was too light, so I began to tweak it with some different saturation layers and multiply layers, trying to get the whole gradient to look a little more appealing and a little more different from the original piece, because I think it was too light and kind of blends with the character too much. Whenever I start adding more color to a piece, especially if it's a human, I always start with adding a blush and some redness and saturation to it, because I feel like it makes it look a lot cuter and kind of come to life quickly. And here I am doing the shading for the eyes. I always play around with the colors a little bit because I personally think I need to improve more on it. I don't think I picked the best colors, so I always have to play around until I find something that I like and blend it all in, make sure it's smooth. And you can't ever forget the little eye shinies to make sure your art pieces look alive. And here's the piece after I finally finished shading it. What do we think? Have I improved?